¿Qué pasa? Yo soy Phil de Málaga 8 y hoy tenemos un vídeo muy especial. Pues nada, gente, vengo a contaros que hace unas semanas tuvimos la oportunidad de estar en el PRS Experience del 40 aniversario organizado por Whole Music aquí en España, en Barcelona, y tuvimos la oportunidad de conocer a varias personas dentro de la compañía de PRS, como el propio Paul o el actual CEO, Jack, e incluso vino Simon McBride, el actual guitarrista de Deep Purple y artista PRS. Fue un día muy especial en general, pero es que además tuvimos la oportunidad de seleccionar unas cuantas guitarras muy especiales para vosotros, que además vienen todas firmadas por el propio Paul. Te recomiendo que estés atento a nuestras redes sociales porque cuando nos lleguen a la tienda os avisaremos para que todo aquel que quiera hacerse con una pieza única pueda hacerlo. Pero bueno, otra cosa súper guay que pudimos sacar de ese día fue entrevistar a Paul. Para mí personalmente fue un momento muy especial porque llevo siendo fan de Paul Reed-Smith desde que soy un crío, y no solo de la marca, sino del propio Paul. A lo largo de la entrevista podréis ver que estoy un poco nervioso. Y no os voy a engañar, hasta me baila el inglés cuando le estoy hablando porque es que era una persona que me imponía mucho. Pero bueno, la verdad que creo que quedó una entrevista muy guay y espero que podáis disfrutarla. Así que nada, vamos con ello.
Welcome to Barcelona.
Thank you, Paul. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you very much for having us.
No problem.
It's been an incredible day, watching all the guitars, watching you and your team talking about the whole company. I want you to answer first this question. Over the 40 years you've been in the business, which is the moment you made more proud?
Were you at the 40th anniversary party?
No, I wish.
There were 1,100 guitar players in the room. There were maybe 30 really good guitar players that played. And a slot opened up at the party for me to play. And I said, I'll take the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, we're not going to have enough time. And I said, I think we're going to be on time. I think all the musicians know how to get on and off the stage. These are all pros. I think we're going to be okay. And I said, if it's not enough time, I'll give up my slot. So we're sitting at dinner 2 nights before, and I'm sitting with Greg Granger and Jonathan Lassane, the front of house engineer and the drummer, and all the other bands there. And I said, let's go after a Jeff Beck tune because he just died. And I wanted to go after the pump. You know. They went, no, let's go after the slow one. And I went, no. And they said, no, let's go after the slow one. Da da da, ba da 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 da. Right. And I looked at the sound man, the front of house guy, and I said, if I can get through the first note, and you have me up in the PA and the reverb's on and the echo's on, so I don't struggle with that note. If I can get through the first note, I might be able to get through the tune. They said, he looks at me, he says, I promise I'll have it up. And I went, all right, let's go after it. So the moment comes, I walk out, I plug into my amp. Tim Pierce says to the audience, you know, he's going to go after this tune, which is one of his favorite tunes. Turns out John Mayer's tech used to be Jeff Beck's tech.
Also.
And I play that note. And they're like, no, he's not going after that one, right? Because it's a holy grail. I cried for 2 days.
Yeah?
After it was over. I was welled up for 2 days. And it was not because we got through the tune. It was not how well we played the tune or whatever it was. It was because I'm a guitar maker who plays guitar once in a while. And after that party was over, I was a guitar player that makes guitars. It had shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, when Carlos Santana started playing my guitars, that was a big deal. But I wasn't welled up for 2 days. I had a job to do. I had to make a guitar. Yeah. When John Mayer broke our website with the release of the Silver Sky, he was getting 1,000 likes a minute, 60,000 likes an hour. That's not views, that's likes, okay? He broke our website. Maybe that should have welled me up for 2 days, you know. Nah, it was cool. It was a good moment. You know, that we survived 2008 nightmare. We survived COVID. That was all good moments. We got through when we started the company, we got through the initial orders. We got a reorder, because if you don't get a reorder, company's dead. That was good. But if you force me to what was the moment that really got me, it's when in front of the whole industry, I was a guitar player. Now, it wouldn't have been that way with the Pump. It would have been cool that we played the Jeff Beck tune. It would have been very cool. But it wouldn't have been the Holy Grail, which is because we ended as lovers, you know. And I made 3 mistakes in a tune because it was nerve-wracking. But I just stopped playing instantly. It didn't sound like a mistake. And then I could hear where the rhythm section was in the tune, and I was able to recover. I mean, if we watched it together at a TV, I could show you where I made 3 mistakes. But I would say you would have to give me that moment. Now, I'm not trying to be cocky about it, but it did touch me that it was a powerful moment in the industry. I didn't understand about that party that much. There were 40, I mean, it was our 40th anniversary, and all these guitar players played. My phone rings right after the concert's over. Was at the House of Blues in LA. And the front of house guy who was at dinner with me and helped me decide, you know, which tune to do. He says, "Thanks for letting me be a part of such a historic event." And I didn't see it as a historic event until that happened, until he called me.
Yeah, don't you?
And I thought that was really cool that he was in the perfect position to know. He was in the middle of the audience, and he's at the console. He's in control of the sound of all Mark Lettieri and John Mayer. Boy, John Mayer's solo in Gravity was just stupid.
Yeah.
He screamed Gravity by himself without the band playing. Wow! You know. John said, you know, it wasn't, what did he say to me? He said it wasn't exactly the most adherent to the solo that I had written. I said, yeah, but John, it was emotional. And he goes, yeah, it was that. He'll fully admit, I mean, Carlos Santana and John Mayer, they'll fully admit what the moment was. Carlos Santana once said to me, he says, sometimes the Yoga Boogie shows up, sometimes the Yoga Boogie is not there, and sometimes he comes and goes. In other words, sometimes there's magic in the air all whole night. Sometimes there's magic in the air that comes and goes, and sometimes you have to fight and there's no magic in there. I wouldn't have called it the Yoga Boogie, but I thought the comment had impact on me. So I would boil it down to that moment because it was so... I'm 69 years old. You know, that doesn't happen to a 69-year-old. So it was a powerful moment. My wife, you watch the video of the party, she's holding my hand at the end while John's talking. I'm holding on for dear life. I mean, she's clamped on trying to get me through the moment, which I thought was cool. So there's your answer. Now that's been the longest answer of the day. So you win the award.
Thank you very much. The next question is because I admire you personally because of your desire of innovation and keeping the guitar forward. Which or what do you think is what makes you being still making your guitars better day by day, day by day?
You're not going to like my answer.
Why?
I don't like history kicking my ass. All right, so if you were a violin maker, and you had a lot of Stradivarius in the shop, or Guarneri's or Guadagnini's or, you know, whatever, came in the shop, and every single time you repaired them, they sounded better than yours, you would have history kicking your ass, correct?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good. I don't like that. I don't enjoy it. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want history kicking my ass. And it's just recently I'm starting to feel like history's not kicking my ass.
Yeah.
It may be for other reasons, but I don't want to get into, but I can tell you that I don't enjoy it. And it's much more about trying to finish the equation for me than it is continuing on for the knowledge base. No, that's not what it is. It's that I don't like having my teachers' instruments be better than ours, and that's not happening right now. We are doing, I mean, you saw the shootouts today. I'm sorry, that was cool.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not afraid of someone bringing in an old instrument and comparing it to what we do anymore. It doesn't spook me at all.
Even to the
Because I know what my competitors are using in their pickups. I know where they're buying the magnets. I know where they're putting the wire in. I know basically how many turns are on it. I know what wire they're hooking it up with. I know how they dry the woods. I know how they're finishing it. I know how it's fretted. I know how the nuts are made. I know what the nuts are made out of, what the tuning pegs are. I mean, it's a combination of all that. And if I know that, and I've been down that rabbit hole, and I know what I'm holding, I like the equation of better than the thing that's being compared to, then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
What I really am embarrassed about is that people will hear, sometimes they'll hear really bad and they'll say, well, I'll just get the pedal to fix it.
Yeah.
It's not a good, it's not okay.
Do you think that it's possible that any player in the world could sound good and he likes or she likes the sound of your guitars without having the necessity of using any pedal?
Sure. There's an old Eric Clapton story. I don't know if it's true, but I was told this story. Eric Clapton was going to sit in with the band. There was this band that was on tour. And they didn't have an extra amp. The only amp they had was a Bandmaster, Fender Bandmaster amplifier, and a speaker in a board that was in the repair area for them to tune the guitars. So they turned the board around. It was just a speaker on a board and a Bandmaster, turned it all the way up. And he's supposedly the tech, that's what they're called, techs, was really scared that he didn't have a real speaker cabinet for Eric Clapton. He said, Paul, the second Eric started playing, you know what it sounded like? I said, no. He said, it sounded like Eric Clapton. These musicians are so powerful that they have a way of forcing their spirit and their will through whatever they're playing. They have so much experience, they don't care that it was just a board. So they lose a little bit of bass. In their world, who cares? Jeff Beck turns a bass, used to turn a bass off anyway, which is why when he's on the low strings, he went, it didn't go, hoo, hoo, hoo. I mean, because he had turned the bass off because he wanted to hear every note he played. I mean, I wasn't standing at the amp, but I've been told he turned the bass off. I mean, Carlos Santana sounds like Carlos Santana on any guitar, but with all due respect, he wants an extraordinary instrument to do his job on.
Mm-hmm.
John Mayer's going to sound like John Mayer on anything. So these people's wills and their spirits are very powerful. I mean, you know, I'm sorry, Paul Rogers could sing on any mic, and it's going to sound like Paul Rogers. Yeah. I think the guitar is the second most intimate instrument after the singing. It's very intimate, the kind of emotion that can be evoked by a guitar.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And talking about guitars, looking back, which is your favorite instrument that you make?
That we make?
Yeah.
The guitar in my guitar case. The guitar I have with me.
It's a Pulse, right?
My first question to my friend who's here, Pierce, this morning, is, are you going to play my guitar? I mean, I want him to try it. I want him to have an experience of it. What do you mean it's my favorite instrument we make? That's not fair. The one I play. The one John Mayer plays, the one Carlos Santana plays, the one David Grissom plays. I don't know. I want happy musicians. Mm-hmm. When I saw Carlos Santana play on the Grammys once, no, on the Oscars, Antonio Banderas was singing. And everybody, how did that feel, Paul? I said, I was trying to make sure he didn't break a string. I wanted to get through the song. Because it was live TV on the Oscars. Sprong with a broken string would have not gone well. No. With a tremolo system, with a D2 mechanism, the whole guitar would have gone out of 10. But I'd worked really hard on the saddles to make sure they were rounded enough so it wouldn't break the string. So I just wanted the guitar to do its job. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What was your favorite moment in the whole clinic today? Well, let me reverse the role on your ass. What was the one thing that really resonated with you?
The first time that Simon and you were jamming together. For me, it was like pure music happening. Okay,
so that thing I wrote for John Mayer, he was at the Crossroads Festival, and he was doing a Martin clinic and then a PRS clinic, and a couple thousand people showed up. And I looked at John and said, you're not going to get out of this without playing. You know that. He goes, yeah, I know. I'm starting to get that. Because he was just doing clinics. And I said, I've written something. I think I can get you through it. Do you trust me? He says, sure, let's go. And so what I played was this out of time thing that Simon was playing over, and then it had time, right? It's on YouTube. You can find it. But I did the same thing with Simon. It's so John would hear the chord, and then he would play in that key, and then he would hear the next chord, and he would play in that key, and then he'd hear the next chord and play in that key. And so when I went into the rhythm, he already knew what was going on. In a way, the beginning of the tune is teaching him the tune, and then it was playing rhythm, and he's in the tune, and then I went back to the teaching part. So that's what you heard. I know it doesn't sound like that, but I was trying to find something that would be practical enough to play without a drummer, without a bass player, and without a keyboard player, and get him something to support him playing for this audience. So I thought it went well.
Yeah,
listen,
pretty well.
Simon picked some good notes today. There's only 12 of them, and he just kept picking the right note over and over again. I mean, he might be the most powerful guitar player in Europe right now because, I'm sorry, he's playing a Deep Purple. He's going on a 9-month stadium tour. I mean, I'm allowed to go to the bathroom in the stadium. That's about it. And, you know.
And Paul, do you think everything is invented in the guitar?
No.
And
that would be arrogant to think I know the future. No, I don't think so. No. There's going to be new stuff coming.
And what can we expect from PRS?
I don't know. You have a crystal ball? You going to tell me? I don't know. I know what we're working on. I can't really tell you about it because then you become my marketing department. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to release it. I don't want to release it ahead of time. I'll tell you what. There's something in that guitar case out there. I'll bring it to dinner. You try it. I'll show you what the future is for me. But you're not going to film it. You're not going to talk about it. You're going to keep your mouth shut.
I promise.
I'll come after you. I'm sorry. Interviewing store owner dies with guitar maker's hands around his throat. You know, you're going
if it's you killing me.
If you want to see it, it's a fair question. I'll show it to you.
Okay. Well, then I think we're finished.
I don't know if we're finished. I know that your friends have been smiling the whole time. I like what you did.
Well, thank you very much. It's a true honor, Paul.
Good. So I have something in my case I'll show you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bueno, ¿qué te ha parecido? La verdad que es súper interesante todo lo que nos cuenta Paul. Desde Málaga 8, darle las gracias al equipo de PRS, a Hall Music por llevarnos y contar con nosotros, a vosotros por ver nuestro contenido y seguirnos cada día, y si no nos sigues te recomiendo que lo hagas, porque vamos anunciando un montón de eventos, de cosas súper chulas en general en todas nuestras redes sociales, que además no siempre es el mismo contenido en Instagram que en YouTube, y así vas a poder estar al día y no desaprovechar ninguna oportunidad. Recordad que dentro de nada llegarán las guitarras firmadas por Paul para que podáis haceros con ellas. Son unidades únicas y evidentemente no vamos a tener más, así que no lo desaproveches. Y ya sabes, nos vemos por Málaga 8.